All right. So everybody, warm welcome. Over to you, Hira.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheetal. Hello, everyone. Warm welcome. So wonderful to have all of you here with us for another Money Book Club meet. And thank you. So let me see who all are here with me. So thank you, Sapna, Sri Moesh, Shweta, and of course, we're waiting for the others to join in. So to begin with, a little about myself. I am Hira Jethanandani, and I'm a core team member at Women on Wealth. And yes, I have this book really got my attention. And yes, once again, I kind of felt I must revive my interest and love for reading and building myself as an investor at Women on Wealth and with my community. So yes, let's a little about uh, what we do at Women on Wealth, who we are, for those of you who've joined us, for the first time. So Women on Wealth, we are a women-centric community. And what we do is we help women learn to take charge of their finances. And our mission is to financially educate 50 lakh women by 2030. So also a little about, our online money book club that you are here a part of. And this is an initiative that we felt, we must really create a space where women can come in and, comfortably just discuss about finances and really create an open and an accessible space. So, and through the medium of books. So that's really what we wanted to create. So about our Women on Wealth online money book club. So this is a free platform for anyone who enjoys reading. And our intention is very clear that at Women on Wealth, we wish to create a safe space, an open space for women to come together, to read, to discuss and learn more and talk more about money. So yeah, so the kind of books that we pick up here are on financial management. We pick up books on mindset building, financial habits, and investing. And yeah, so our purpose and intention is absolutely clear for us, that we would want to spread this financial awareness for women, picking one book at a time. So welcome once again. And yes, hi Sakshi, thank you for joining. Okay, so we're all reading, the current book that we're all reading is, about to really build our investment skills. And we picked up the book Warren Buffett Invests Like a Girl. So yeah, anyone who would like to share, why did we really think of picking this book? All of us have been reading this book for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, we've pretty much arrived at the 13th chapter. So yeah, it's been a long association. We've been reading this together. So anyone would like to share? Why do you think we picked this book? So I really think we picked this book. Yes, absolutely, Srimoy, you're right. Warren Buffett is one of the best known in the world of investment. So, who better that we could have chosen to learn from? And yes, that's why we picked one of these books. And something which is very interesting, which really caught my attention, is that, how it resonates with us. We're a community of women who are wanting to learn about investing, wealth creation. And here we have one of the world's best known investor. And as the title of the book says, Warren Buffett invests like a girl. So really looking at what's that similarity. So, and of course, so far as we've come, we've seen there's so much more similar feminine about investing that we're learning from Warren. So that's what I found, which is most interesting. So yeah, so let's really look at, some of you who hadn't joined maybe last week, we read these two chapters, chapter 11 and 12. And yeah, so very briefly, I would like to share, let me give you a quick summary of what we talked about last week. And last week we spoke about the chapter which talks about embrace feminine influences. And here, as this chapter, the author talks about that how Warren was deeply influenced by women around him, and especially, his wife Susan, and another friend, and um, Mrs. Rose Bumpkin, and how deeply he was influenced by these women when he observed their business, how they actually did business, and how they were so committed, so much that he felt he was influenced by when he watched these women in action. And that's what this chapter really talked about. We also moved to the next chapter where we spoke, the next chapter which talked about maintain consistent, persistent results. And I think, as we're all, aware that, any result, the key to success is really consistency. And that's what this chapter really talks about, that how Warren Buffett has maintained, has been really consistent and persistent in his approach to investing. How he started maintaining people's money, their portfolios at the age of 25. And since then, he's developed his style of investing, which is value investing. And that is what is proven, that, it has been the best style, the proven style, which has helped him earn so much dividends. And of course, has gotten not only him, but many people rich. So, yeah, so that's really what this, so far, these chapters really talked about. And yes, now we've arrived on the 13th chapter. And this particular chapter is where he's talking about value people and relationships. So before I begin with this chapter, anyone would like to share, so far, what have you taken and, from this book? So yeah, so I'm inviting Sapna, Sakshi. Hi, Ekta. Good evening. Warm welcome.
Hello, Hira. How are you?
Very well. Warm welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm on the move, but then I thought, let me just at least
Awesome.
hear if I can't contribute.
That's awesome. That's really wonderful. Great. Okay. So have you been reading this book?
Which book are we reading?
So we're reading, the current book that we're reading is Warren Buffett Invests Like a Girl. Yeah. Okay. Have you had the opportunity to pick up this book?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. Inviting the others join in and participate. Sure, Sheetal. Thank you so much.
Hello all. Sorry, I've just started with the book. It's just 2 or 3 pages I'm in.
Sure, Sapna.
Yeah, so
Okay.
hardly getting time to get over, but surely I will read it along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Sure. Absolutely. I'm glad that you've joined in. Yes. Hi, Usha. Good evening. All right. Great. So let's really begin. We'll start reading with the this chapter, and I will just share this. So yes, please tell me who would like to read. I think we could read a couple of pages and then maybe discuss a little about what we are getting. So yeah, who would like to read? I would like to invite some of you to go ahead and read. Shweta, Srimoy, Sakshi, Usha, Ekta. Yeah, who would like to begin?
Hira, I can be there till 6:30 only.
Okay. Srimoy, yes, please begin. Sure, please come in. Was that you who mentioned? Sorry, I don't think I saw who said you were here till 6:30 only.
Usha here.
Okay, sure. So maybe after Srimoy, Usha, you could read, and yeah, we would love your contribution too. Okay, Srimoy, yeah, you could unmute yourself, Srimoy. You can unmute yourself, Srimoy. Okay. All right. Can I invite you, Usha? Why don't you begin? Srimoy,
Yeah,
you can
sure.
and continue.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so let's begin with chapter 13 today, value, people, and relationships. So Buffett exemplifies the 8 traits we gleaned from the research about female versus male investors exceptionally well. And he certainly is a shining example of market beating performance. But we can't sum him up that easily. We have got to add 3 additional principles to fully understand what makes Buffett, what makes him tick, what makes him special, and what makes him the master investor he is. After all, we are to become a better investors ourselves, and that's certainly the goal here. We need to know everything we can about what makes sense, what makes Buffett do the things he does, and act the way he acts. Our first Buffett centric principle, then, is to value and cultivate your relationships with people. This is something Buffett considers vital to good business. Building lasting relationships with people you're working with or investing your money with or going to business with is important for long-term success. Buffett places a premium on people, even sometimes putting them ahead of the potential for more profit, and he speaks proudly of this fact. In a letter to his partners, way back in 1968, Buffett said, "When I am dealing with people I like in business, I find stimulating what business is not, and achieving worthwhile overall returns on capital employed, say 10 to 12%. It seems foolish to rush from situation to situation to earn a few more percentage points. It also does not seem sensible to me to trade a known pleasant personal relationship with high grade people at a decent rate of return for possible uh, irritation, aggravation, and worse at potentially higher returns." And in his 1989 Berkshire letter to shareholders, Buffett echoed his thought, saying, "We have found a splendid business relationships to be so rare and so enjoyable that we want to retain all we develop. This decision is particularly easy for us because we feel that these relationships will produce good, though perhaps not optimal, financial results. Considering that we think it makes a little sense for us to give up a time with people we know to be interesting and admirable for time with others we do not know and who are likely to have humans qualities for far closer to average. Given that we know Buffett is concerned with allocating his capital the most efficient way he can, the fact that he places a high enough value on his relationship to forego the potential for higher profit endeavors in favor of continuing to work with people he knows, likes, and trusts shows us how meaningful this is to him. Now, granted, he undoubtedly hopes and wishes that this trade off won't be necessary, and he will ideally find a situations where is both making as much money as he is possibly can and likes the folks he's doing it with. And in fact, Buffett can adapt at finding this mix over his long career. Speaking of Buffett's focus on the people side of investing, Nell Minow, editor and co-founder of the Corporate Library, an organization that focuses on corporate governance, said, I think one of the most impressive thing about him is not the way he looks at stocks, although Gosh knows he is very good at math, but the way he looks at people. He has been an excellent judge of people all the way along. Look at someone like Rose Bumplin, whom we talked about earlier. She was as dedicated to running uh, Nebraska Furniture Mart as Buffett is to investing. He admired her and counted her among the greatest business minds he had ever known. He knew he didn't need to help Mrs. B run her store. She knew quite well what to do. In turn, she kept working hard for him, growing her business as she had never sold it in the first place. And that's exactly as Buffett wants it. When Buffett buys a company for a Berkshire, unlike many other acquirers, he doesn't run a right in and start implementing the new rules, changing management, and generally stirring up trouble. He buys a company when he believes in the existing management and with the current way of companies being run. Otherwise, he had looked elsewhere for opportunities. Buffett does as little as possible to upset the status quo, leaving the management team alone to keep doing what they are doing. He provides a guidance and support as needed, but mostly just stays out of the way. He feels comfortable operating this way because of the value he places on working with good, smart, motivated people. It makes it easier to sleep at night when you trust the people you are in business with. Whether that means buying an entire company outright or investing in shares of one. For Buffett, quite simply, people matter. Writing in the Berkshire Owners Manual, Buffett says of the managers of Berkshire subsidiary business, most of our managers are independently wealthy, and it's therefore up to us to create a climate that encourages them to choose working with Berkshire over golfing or finishing. This leaves us needing to treat them fairly and in the manner that we would wish to be treated if our positions were reversed. Okay, then for us, we may not be thinking about buying a whole business outright yet, but the people factor still is important. Knowing who is in charge of a company you are thinking about buying shares of is every bit as crucial as it is when Buffett gets to know the people running a business he wants to own. Now, obviously, it's a little bit easier for Buffett to get a FaceTime with those people than it would be for us to, say, call a meeting with the folks in the charge of Coca Cola, but you can still do a research and learn as much as you can about just who it is you're entrusting with your money. And that is the best way to think about it. It helps keep the importance of having solid, trustworthy management front and center.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Usha.
thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. So yeah, so we could just maybe discuss, so far what is opening up for us. Well, Buffett, it really talks about that, okay, people are the key. People, which company are we investing in? And knowing the management is really essential. That's what this really talks about. So anything that we're able to connect with.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we are doing in stocks, right? Before,
Right.
Doing quality, quantitative analysis, we look for quality and we understand the management, like what board of director does. I mean, what
Right.
his special skill is. I mean, that's what he meant, I suppose. I mean, that's what
Yes.
I can relate now, as
Yeah.
of now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is precisely what he's mentioning, that, really, so the company that we are choosing to invest in, right? Sometimes what happens is we're only focused as much on the numbers of the performance of the company. But what is even more important is, and that's why, in our structure, in our stocks program, we learn about a qualitative analysis. We really go in depth to talk about, okay, what is the management all about? Who are there in the management? What is their ideology? What are their ethos that they follow? How have they been through various phases, of the company's growth, and how have they really handled crisis? So we really look at all these aspects. So why do you think it's so important? And of course, for us as individual investors, and so far, what in the book that we're talking about, why do you think it's so important? Is something opening up that we can connect with? Sakshi, Shweta, Shrimoy, inviting you also to participate. Right, Usha's sharing, trust the people and invest, through the numbers may go up and down, but individuals' mindset might bring good results in the future. Okay, and so if you see right now, so far, as Warren, spoke about that, how Mrs. Rose Blumkin, and how influenced, it is not just for any reason that Warren Buffett is influenced by her. It's really about, the way, like, she really knows how to do this business on ground. And that has gotten Warren to really trust his investment in her business. And even after buying that business, Warren is absolutely assured that, when she's here and she's taking the lead, he doesn't have to, look into or interfere in the status quo of the the way the business is being conducted on a day-to-day basis. So that level of trust has gotten built for him, and that's what, as an investor, is so important, isn't it? So that's what so far the chapter was talking about. Anything anyone wants to share? I mean, this is what I got for myself. Please do share. Okay, so we can take this forward, and read the next bit. Okay, so yes, I'm inviting who would like to go ahead, who would like to read.
Hi, I can read.
Okay, awesome, Shrimoy. Here, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. So we are here on, please go ahead.
Keys to affecting management.
Right.
In an email interview, Prem Jain, professor at the Georgetown University McDonough School of Business and the author of Buffett Beyond Value, Why Buffett Looks to Growth and Management When Investing, offers the following suggestions for individual investors trying to assess the quality of management on their own. Evaluating company management or a CEO is not easy because different individual qualities can engender success in different circumstances. But I can certainly tell you two fundamental questions to ask. First, are the management team and the current CEO competent? Second, are the management incentives properly aligned with the shareholder interests? To answer the first question, I reviewed the company's performance over several years. For example, when I evaluated Johnson and Johnson and its management, I examined the company's earnings.
Okay. Sorry, I think I missed.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Company's earnings, the return on equity, and the allocation of cash flows for more than 25 years. I prefer evaluating a company's performance over a long period to discover whether management teams can deliver positive results under different CEOs. While it is important to evaluate several metrics, a carefully computed return on equity ratio is probably the most important metric for determining management competence. I found consistently good performance over the entire period, and I did not spot any incongruent acquisitions, large equity insurances,
Issue.
or egregious issuances or egregious ethical violations. To me, the results reflected disciplined management. I also read all of the CEO William Weldon's letters to shareholders since he was appointed in 2002. To answer the second question, I checked the number of shares held by the CEO and the other top managers in the company. I am suspicious of CEOs who are awarded a large number of stock options but hold only a small number of shares. In addition, I prefer CEOs who have been with the company for a long time and are promoted from within. They should, at the very least, have experience in the same industry. Finally, I try to learn about their lifestyle. A CEO with an extravagant lifestyle is less likely to be prudent with shareholders' money than a CEO who lives more modestly. Since there is no exact science to evaluating management teams or CEOs, it is important to give yourself a lot of patience.
Right. Just give me a second. Please go ahead.
To develop your evaluation skills, I recommend finding several
Yes. We're losing you, Srimoy. Sorry, Srimoy, we are losing you. Can't hear you clearly.
Studying them and their companies. Beyond Warren Buffett,
Sorry, Srimoy, we were losing you actually. We couldn't hear you.
have
Can you hear me, Srimoy? So, sorry.
benefited from reading articles about and Sam Walton. Jim. Okay, where should I start from? I can.
All right. So we were losing you. Sorry, we couldn't hear you at all. It was breaking. Your voice has been breaking for a while. Sure, Sakshi. Thank you. Can you, Srimoy, can you speak up maybe once again? We'll just try once again.
Sure.
Thank you for joining, Sakshi. Yeah. Okay. Let me just, yeah. Can you try once again? Let's see if we can hear you.
Yeah. Since there is no exact science to evaluating management teams or CEOs,
Yeah.
it is important to give yourself a lot of practice. Is it okay?
Yes, this is so much better. Thank you. Go ahead.
To develop your evaluation skills, I recommend finding several inarguably good CEOs and studying them and their companies. Beyond Warren Buffett, I have benefited from reading articles about and written by Alfred Sloan, Jack Welch, Sam Walton, Jim Sinegal, and several others. An investor can evaluate a CEO or a management team properly only if he or she has first studied many CEOs and management regimes that are known to be successful. The good news is that because there is considerable amount of art in evaluating management, the evaluator gets better with time. It is easy to find out the names of top executives at a company you're considering investing in. From there, be like Buffett and read all you can about them. If the company has a website, check it out to see if there are bios available for the top brass. Google the names to see what you can come up with, or articles written about them or the company. Fool.com is a good place to start. You're looking to find out how long they have been with the company, what their history there is, how much stock of the company they are running, how much stock of the company they are running they own, and just generally whether you can get a feel for what type of a person uh, is in charge.
Sorry. Just give me a second. Okay, we were here. Yes, please continue. Yeah.
The desired qualities in management are the same ones that we see personified in Buffett: honesty, humility, openness, and ownership minded outlook, and even a sense of humor, if you can get it. Someone like Jim Sinegal, whom Prem Jain also singled out, see the sidebar. Costco's co-founder and chief executive officer is a perfect example of warehouse retailer Costco for Berkshire. And it's easy to see why. Not only is the business strong, but it's smartly run by a guy who's cut from the same mold that Buffett is. Senegal has no pretense about him, media alike. He's humble and even company
I think,
this at a company billion. Yes, he really does. He's got business to run for Pete's sake.
Srimoi, I think we'll pause here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll pause here because of course there was again quite a lot of lag while you were reading. So thank you very much though. Thank you very much. All right. So yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yes. So yeah, anyone would like to share what did you gather so far? I think many approaches about how to really understand the management. What is it that we should really look for? Anything that caught your attention, please share. For me, I really could connect when the author is talking about that how one needs to evaluate the management, really need to have the eye to assess the management, and so many key pointers to really look for how disciplined is the management, where can we actually get to know so much more. So various resources are also being talked about, that how it's so important to look at when we are reviewing the company, evaluating the company's management. So asking the key question that how competent rather is the team, the CEO, and how they are actually managing. How does the management really, incentives properly aligned with, are these incentives aligned with the shareholders' interests? So actually so important to really look at, and to pick up the shareholders letters. I'm not too sure how many of you have actually picked up the shareholders letters, and we're aware that how Warren has really grown in the way he's been addressing his shareholders, and his letters are so interesting, to go ahead and get to know more about. So yeah, and quite a few pointers here that are being talked about, that how important it is to actually see what is the top management, the top managers and the CEO, and what is the lifestyle of the CEO, what do they really value, and that's so much important to really look at. So any CEO that comes to your mind and you really have read about and that has really stayed with you, anyone who would like to share? Hi Raji, good evening. Ekta, anyone you have connected with in yes, Ratan Tata is one such person, absolutely right. Yeah, so with such CEOs right at the at the helm of affairs, it really tells us what the company would be all about, and that gives us a clear understanding. So when we're looking, especially someone that comes to my mind is Steve Jobs, when I think about Apple, and really, when I'm thinking about that, yes, what kind of an organization would that be? He was someone who was really on top of things. Yes, Narayana Murthy, absolutely. So we know the kind of person that he is and how he has built Infosys right from the scratch. Absolutely. So yeah, thanks, Raji. Yes, so Steve Jobs, Ratan Tata, E. Sridharan. Yes, brilliant. Thank you for sharing. So some of your idols. Yeah. So that's really what it tells us about the company, right? When we are looking at wanting to understand the management a little more. And yeah, so great. So let's take this forward. And who would like to read?
I will
Sapna, okay, Shweta, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let me just share the screen once again for you. Okay, so all right, I'm here. Okay, just we were right here. We just completed this page and I will move forward. Yeah. Okay. We got to begin from here, which is how the pros judge management. Please go ahead.
Okay. Value investors, Lisa Rapurona of Lane 5 Capital Management and Amelia Viri of Paradigm Capital Management also believe that having qualitative management is place where they invest in a company is a key to success, and they sympathetic with the plight of a small investor trying to figure out if the people running a business are for real or not. Rapurono says, I have found that just because somebody a real smart guy or girl, that doesn't mean they are great manager of the company. So what I am assessing on that side is almost always just whether they are very good at capital.
Please continue, Shweta.
Yeah. Allocations, that's not just whether or not you are buying back stocks or what kind of that you use. That's also what R&D you find your fund, how you choose to grow. Do you understand earning excess returns in your business? And do you understand when it's appropriate not to invest? So I judge the quality of management almost exclusively on whether they get that capital allocation piece of pie. For an average investors, they can do the mathematical things that I do, which is look at their history of capital allocation. That's something that anyone can do because you just need to 10 days to do that. But the objective judgment of a management team is much tougher. You can't really tell from seeing a guy on CNBC if you can trust him or not. You can learn a lot from the conference calls, though you can learn a lot from how they answer the questions, whether they answer them straightforwardly and how they frame their answers, whether they are aggressive or a conciliatory. But you are little bit out of luck as an individual not having access necessary to.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, accessories to them. And frankly, even as a small firm, I don't always have access to CEO and CFOs. I usually have to win my way into their hearts by proving that I have done all the work, and that often take a long period of time. Eventually, I get in. Sometimes it takes a lot of phone calls, though, asking questions that the RI and investor relations persons can't answer to demonstrate my interest and my integrity and the work that we are done before finally getting the CEO and CF or the CFOs to pay attention. Vir also thinks the conference call are a source of good information for individual investors. Saying to your point about individual investors, if it is a company that I either don't know well or don't feel like I really have my arms around, and this is something that I think does matters for the random person on the street who wants to invest. You can't listen to the reply of the conference call, or you can read the transcript. I always find it much more useful to
Oops. Yeah.
listen to the conference call because a transcript is a transcript. If you are just looking for some numbers or clarification, but you find of what to hear, the turn what the turn is in management voice. You want to hear them doing the Q&A period. Sometimes some of the analysts are more aggressive or not, but you want to hear what that dialogues is like, and are they defensive, or are they are a little vague, or are they are really helpful.
Yes.
uh,
So we were here. This is the
okay,
last slide.
okay. Yeah. I think that none of that is an extra science, but I think again it leads additional informations if you are willing to go through that efforts to listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In addition to placing importance on the people he does businesses with, whether he buying their company or investing in it, Buffett has also maintained close relationship with certain people for years. He is steadfastly loyal to those close to him. Charlie Munger, who served as Berkshire's vice chairman and Buffett's right-hand man, is the first and the primary person who comes to mind. He is as close to Buffett as anyone has likely even been and is likely even to get ever to get. Buffett and Munger, who as it happens also raised in Omaha and even worked in Buffett's grandfather's grocery store as a teenager. Met in 1959, and from the beginning, this was a friendship descended to Andrew, a pair of brainy
Brainy.
bookworms. They were both interested in investing and quickly fell into talking for hours on the phone. Munger was living in California while Buffett was, of course, in a Nebraska, and seeing each other in person where they could. Before long, Buffett and Munger were investing together, doing deals in consent, starting with the aforementioned Hawkschild Kong investment in 1966. From there they thankfully moved on to other more successful venture until they finally combined focus officially in 1982. Munger became vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. Trying to imagine Buffett's without Munger is like trying to imagine any famous duo thought out time without both partners. It's uh
Yes, please go ahead.
yeah it's Louis without clock, capital without Tenenlil, Hansel without Gretel, chocolate without peanut butter. In other words, Buffett with no Munger could means a very different future and scenario for both men today. It isn't only that they pals either. Munger had has had a tremendous influence on Buffett, helping the way he think about investing evolve beyond the strict Garhamini Grahamin Sigar Buff school of thoughts. We will get further into Mughal influence on Buffett in our next chapter. Another person from whom Buffett counts as a close friend might surprise you, given Buffett's public uh, aversion to technology. That Bill Gates, co-founder of computer software uh, Grant Microsoft, the two who have since volleyed back and fourth in ranking on the Forbes list for richest person in the world, met in 1991. They formed a quick friendship built on mutual respect and appreciated for one another. Buffett got Gates to take up his favorite pastime, bridge, and even help out when Gates was asking for his wife's hand in marriage.
Let's
Buffett,
really pause. Let's pause here, Shweta. Okay.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, great. Okay. So yeah, so let's really look at what we gathered so far. What have really we understood, with this portion where they're talking about the pros of, the pros of judging the management, how the pros judge the management. So what is it that so far, we've gotten? What is it that we've understood so far? Let's really share. Yeah, someone's joined in as 077 BFC. Could we have your name, please? Yes. So how do you think the pros are judging the management? What did you gather so far? How would you, yeah, hi. Could I have your name, please? Childhood Friendship Matters. Yeah. So Ekta just left us, and I'll just read what she's shared for us. She shared that, she's reached her destination, and her 1% learning is that assessing the lifestyle of the CEO speaks volumes as to how shareholders' money would be taken care of. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyone would like to share, yes, partnership between two people. So what I really gathered is that, when we're looking at how the pros actually judge the management, so they really look at, capital allocation. How is the company allocated its capital? How are they, what's their focus? That's something, how the company, where is the company's focus? How is the company using their debt? Yeah, how smartly, effectively they're really using their debt. Also talking about, what's the kind of research and development the management is really focusing on with respect to, the company. So all this tells us a lot of, all this is really, that tells us a lot about the management. So these are some of the ways in which, the pro investors would really dig deeper, want to get to know more about. And also what more tools that one, as we as investors, can really look for. So like, the author was talking about that it's a good idea to listen into the conference calls. Yeah, so yes, these are available. If we get onto the website of a company, these are available. So listening into the conference calls, yes, there is also a transcript. And but the author again says that yes, we can also go into the transcript, but really to get to know what's the tone in which they're talking, how they're really sharing, that we would really get to know when we listen into the call. And of course, it's far more interesting to listen into the call. And it gives us a lot more clarity. And something more that also further, the author talks about that how friendships, how for Warren, it is very important if he is connecting, he's forming that strong connection, that partnership, and with the top people. And one of them, he spoke, the author talks about his relationship, his friendship with Charlie Munger, right? So, and how the two together really think, and how Charlie has had a great influence on how Buffett has been, selecting the kind of businesses that he's investing in, how he's deep diving into the businesses. And further again, the author is sharing that another person who has been a great influence for Warren has been, Bill Gates. And how with Bill Gates also, we've seen that he's had, it's a great friendship. And, we've seen many videos where both of them are enjoying, they both have a very, humble lifestyle. And they both enjoy perhaps going out to McDonald's and just enjoying the burgers and the cola and playing bridge. So yes, so really what the author is talking about is, how he relates with people. That is also a big influence in helping him and giving him more clarity about whether this business is a trusted business that I would want to really invest in, whether the values that I really believe in, which is humility, which is, very beautifully he talks about whether these values are something that he connects with, and only then would he also want to further, get to know more about the business and about the management. So that is something which so far this chapter talks about. And of course there are 3 more pages of the chapter, and perhaps yes, we could really go back and read through. So actually in just 5 minutes are left, and I would just like to ask all of you, while we've come this far, we're reading this book. So just like in this book, it's analyzing what's Warren Buffett's approach and his investment strategy. So yeah, so I would like to also ask that as women, what is our investment strategy? Yeah, it would be very interesting for us to reflect that and see what are our own ways of saving, investing, and spending that show, that talks a lot about our personalities, right? Isn't it? So someone who's that's why someone who's maybe is does not really spend so easily, yeah, and all these years we've heard, or we would have told that person, oh, he's a miser or she's a miser. Yeah, so really their approach in their saving, spending, and investing styles, yeah, that really makes them who they are as people. And I think it's vice versa also. Like the way we are as personalities also influences the way we are as investors. Yeah, would you agree with me? Have you seen that? So yeah, maybe anyone wants to share, about how they see themselves. How do you see yourself, or anything from this book, that you see has helped you reflect that, okay, yeah, I am someone who saves like that, or looks at investments like that, and because this is the kind of personality that I am. Yeah, Sapna, Raji, Shrimoy, Shweta. Yeah, and number 077. Yeah, inviting you all to please participate. Yeah, it'll be great to really hear.
Hi, Hira.
Hi.
Rani here.
Sorry. Could I have your name, please?
Rani, R-A-N-I.
Okay. Ayani. Hi, welcome.
And I think in last a year, more than a year, I have been investing for since few years. But after attending the WOW library,
right,
I have become a little more involved investor.
Okay.
Being aware of my spending and investment.
Right.
And I was not a carefree spender, but at the same time now it is like knowing your budget and spending it more carefully rather than being carefree.
Wow.
So that has been great, and being more alert investor, knowing why to invest and how to invest.
Okay.
Thanks to the book reading club. Thank you.
Wow. All right. Great. Thanks, Annie, for sharing. So how now I got that, how you're sharing that now, rather than being a carefree spender, you become a careful spender.
Yes.
So does that come from any part of your personality, Annie?
Personality is not no, it's not coming from my personality. It's coming more of being a needful person.
Okay.
Not coming as a yes, not a part of a personality. Personality in the sense you can say according to the age group, yes, because I'm 50 plus, then I become more careful. If I was in 20s, I would have been more careful then.
Right. Yeah. So that aspect of our personality is influencing the way we are as investors, isn't it?
Sure,
yeah.
Sure, yes.
Right. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sapna. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Sapna, you wanting to share something?
Just nothing. Just want to invest now because I haven't done any time. So yeah, I was a spender, but not carelessly. I used to go to, shops and then pick up stuff, then used to think, okay, is it needed? Then drop it again and come back without spending. And sometimes without thinking, you have to go for a party or something, And no, this I have to take it anyway. So I have to pick it up. So now, looking at my wardrobe and what are stuff I'm having, so I'll be thinking, no, do I really need to spend, or can I wear this for this party, or maybe we'll see it later.
Right.
So that way. So that's all. And now want to invest and be more wise about my money.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, great. I'm glad that's.
Thank you.
So what about your personality is making you become so careful, so conscious? Is
Like
that something?
want to take everything on my own, want to not depend on anyone
Right,
for future, not even, not expecting anything from my children as well.
right. Yeah,
So that's how I became, that's how I'm just growing towards that personality.
right. Okay. Okay. So you making these independent decisions is helping you also become an independent person.
Person. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe we could also say because you're choosing to be independent for your life, for your future,
Correct.
you are
Correct.
making these independent financial decisions also.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Right.
Because
Yeah. So
never thought of it like we have to be so independent in each aspect.
right.
So now taking charge of everything on a
Correct.
whole, I can
Yeah.
say.
Right. Okay. Okay. Great. Great.
Thank
And
you.
we're looking forward to you becoming this valued investor, independent
Yes.
valued investor. All
Yes.
right. Yeah. Great. Yes. So it's 7. And yes, anyone who would like to share, something that you're taking away very quickly in 2 lines. Shweta, Srimoy, Raji, anyone? Okay. All right. So thank you very much. And on this note, we close the book club meet for today. And let's get set. Let's really take this discussion on our Telegram platform. And let's really, reflect that, okay, what part of me, the way I save, the way I spend, the way I invest is really, is impacting my personality or the other way around. And I'm sure it'll be a great, insightful learning about our own selves. And so I'm looking forward to see you all next week, same time, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. On this platform. And let's really take on the next chapter, which talks about question the masters. So that's again an interesting chapter. So let's really take this on. And thank you very much to each one of you. Bye-bye and have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sapna, Raji, Srimoy. Thank you.